Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the Chris Talk Show. Here's your host, Chris Talks.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the show. Hope that you're having a good day. So, what's up, Ed? How you doing today? You good? All right. It's a nice morning. It's it's going to be a good day. It's like 70 degrees already. So, and it's early. So, it's going to be a good day. All right, listeners, let's get into our top topic for this episode, which is going to be, I studied on that, which is going to be Trump signs an executive order to remove homeless people. What? Let me read that again. President Trump signs an executive order to remove homeless people.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's it. All right, we're going to let Sarah report the story as always, and I will give you my view and my opinion at the end. All right, let's get into it.
Thank you, Chris. President Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at streamlining the removal of homeless individuals from public spaces. The order redirects federal resources toward placing those affected into rehabilitation and substance abuse treatment facilities. Framing the move as a common-sense solution, Trump pointed to visible homelessness in Washington, D.C., as an example of the problem. Right outside, there were some tents, and they're getting rid of them right now. You can't do that, especially in Washington, D.C. I talk to the mayor about it all the time. I said, you gotta get rid of the tents. He told reporters at the White House. We can't have it. When leaders come to see me to make a trade deal for billions and billions and even trillions of dollars, and they come in and there's tents outside of the White House. We can't have that. It doesn't sound nice. Homeless advocacy groups criticized the order, arguing that it prioritizes punishment over proven solutions. These executive orders ignore decades of evidence-based housing and support services in practice, said Donald Whitehead, executive director of the National Coalition for the Homeless. They represent a punitive approach that has consistently failed to resolve homelessness and instead exacerbates the challenges faced by vulnerable individuals. The executive order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to reverse legal precedents. Additionally, it lifts consent decrees that restrict cities' ability to remove or relocate homeless individuals. It tasks Bondi with coordinating efforts across several federal departments, including with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. These agencies are instructed to expedite federal funding for cities and states that enforce crackdowns on open illicit drug use, urban camping and loitering, and urban squatting. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Sarah, for thank you for that report. Thank you. Thank you. You want to bring me in on this, Ed? All right, for all my new listeners, when you hear that gong, that's the part of this show here where I give you my view and my opinion on this particular topic. And I'm going to be a two-headed coin on this. As always, I'm going to be a two-headed coin on this.
Bruh.
Because, all right, first and foremost, let me say this. Okay. Them setting up tents and stuff outside the White House and stuff, I mean,
Bruh.
that could be seen as anything. It can be seen as anything, really. It can be seen as a protest, not homelessness. Now, just for the record, real quick, we did look up the homelessness in Washington. Yeah, Washington. It is rather high. It's rather high.
Bruh.
But listen, what I could say is this. It could be looked at in two different ways. It could be seen as a protest, or it could be seen for what it really is.
Bruh.
Which is that the United States is not really what it all says that it is. Isn't it? Coming here is not the land of gold for some people. Like some people get here and they don't make it. Sometimes they get here, then they fall into different traps or whatever the reason it may be. Okay, but him wanting to remove the homelessness now, this is what we had to further look into, and this is what I looked into as well. Was he just talking about Washington, or was he talking about on a national level? And our sources has come up with exactly what was reported. He is trying to do that just within the area of Washington, and just within the area, mostly within the area of the White House. Now, I do want to remind people that I think it was a couple of years during his first presidency, where he cleared some church or something to take a picture. I think most people remember that, right?
Bruh.
I think most people remember that. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah, I think it was his first presidency. He cleared it up for some type of photo op or whatever. But at the same time,
Bruh.
at the same time, this is why I don't really like to do politics, okay? Because this is the type of stupid crap that we have to deal with. Instead of dealing with the homeless situation throughout the entire country, he is just focused on Washington. That's what he's focused on.
Bruh.
So, but this bill is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be, is it supposed to be nationwide? It's supposed to be nationwide, but it's mostly focused on Washington.
Bruh.
Because he's in Washington.
Bruh.
And when people come, when all these different presidents or different heads of states or whatever, I could say whatever angle of whatever status that they have within their government come, he don't want them to pull up to the White House and see a bunch of homeless tents outside.
Bruh.
But this is what the country is suffering from, though.
Bruh.
But you don't want the rest of the what? You don't want the people that come in to see this?
Bruh.
I'm just taking a second. And for me, this is where the coin flips. Why wouldn't you want these people to come and see this? You're talking about, oh, they're coming here to invest in billions and billions and billions of dollars. Yeah, they need to see what they invested in.
Bruh.
They need to see. They need to see exactly what's going on. They need to see what they're investing their money in. And what they're seeing is just listen, what they are seeing, okay, and what you're trying to hide, okay, and let's just be honest, it's all the bull, okay? That's what you're trying to hide. You're trying to hide all of and slide it under the carpet. But you know what? It's too much for you to slide under the carpet, and a hell is still gonna show. You know what? Like it's an overflow toilet. There's too much in the toilet. It is overflowing. There is just too much in that toilet that is overflowing. That's what it is with Trump. He talks a lot of I'm telling you. I ain't hating on the brother, but he do talk a lot of I'm just saying. A whole bunch of I'm just saying. I don't. Now, on a personal level, let me make this clear because, like I was telling you earlier, Ed, when I had heard this story. I had heard this story a little bit, listeners, earlier, and you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. It reminded me of the movie RoboCop. What part was it that we was? What was it? Part 3? Yeah, it reminded me of RoboCop Part 3. That's what this government reminds me of. And the last one before it, Biden too. Biden was RoboCop too. That's who he was. And Trump is RoboCop 3. I'm being honest. Watch the movies and see what I'm talking about. And to all my so-called woke listeners that leave comments, leave all your comments. Where were you when this was happening?
Bruh.
When he signed this order?
Bruh.
Where were you?
Bruh.
And the thing is, we looked it up. This was something that was open to the public. I want all my listeners to know this is something that was open to the public. But like most sneaky stuff that the government does, it wasn't really advertised.
Bruh.
It wasn't really. Maybe it was put on. What's that? CC. What was it? They have those. What do they call them? What's the name of them again, Ed? Billboards. Maybe they were put on the public billboards. Okay, those are still available in every state and in every county. Those are still available for free. You just gotta look them up and find out where they are in your county.
Bruh.
You ain't have to do that. You just have to do it. To all my listeners, just look it up. They're all public. Yeah, you all right? You all right? You got it? All right. As I was saying, there's a little bit static there. I heard it. You heard it? Okay, but look it up in your public, your local area. There are public billboards and stuff like that where they do show what's going on within your community and within your county. Okay. Now I want to say something because there was just something I just looked at. Now Donald Trump, his team says that they want to put the federal funding right into like rehab facilities and so forth. Okay, now to all my listeners, I you could go out there, you could do the research yourself and all that stuff. All right, and I've had this argument so many times. There is no government, no state facility, no rehab, no government or state rehab facility, and I've done the research myself. You can do it yourself. That houses anybody for a long term, and I mean a long term, as in such as 5 to 10 years. There's no facility like that exists. None. The furthest they will probably go is a year, and that has to be court ordered. Listen, if you think I'm joking, look it up yourself.
Message.
Look it up yourself. Because we have done the research. Us here at the show, we have done the research. So you can look it up. So this is not anything that I would consider permanent or to really treat any homeless situation throughout the nation, throughout the United States. It's not to treat that. And what it sounds like is an order, okay? What it sounds like is an order, okay, to sit there and have any type of, and I mean any type of law enforcement, any type. If you look it up and you look on the order, if we can, Ed, we could pull that up and try to print it there. If we can. Okay, we might get violated, and you know what I'm saying. We ain't trying to, do all that.
Bruh.
But if we can, let's try to put it up. If we can't, then, ladies and gentlemen, all my listeners, look it up yourself, and you will find that order. You will find it in its entirety, and it is not for the nation. It is more for clearing out, and I'ma just give my opinion on this.
Bruh.
But it is just more for clearing out Washington. It is just more, if you can imagine, for 1 second. I want to give my listeners this visual. If you just can imagine a park where there are a bunch of homeless people and they are doing whatever you can imagine that they're doing in this park, in this whatever, by this building or whatever, because it's not always a park. It could be wherever, you know what I mean? But wherever, it's just this little area that you're doing it, that they're doing it, all right? And somebody wants it cleared. Not the community, but somebody just wants it cleared. And to me, that's what's going on.
Bruh.
They're being bulldozed. They're being bulldozed. They are being railroaded out of their spot. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I'm not mad at the president. I'm not mad at him. But I'm not mad at him because if I had presidents from different countries, and I'm telling y'all, I'm two-headed on this situation, all right? So don't get lost with me. But if I had people, coming over, coming to see my country, trying to sign deals, I would try to show them the best. Just as when I go to their countries, they try to show me the best. I think that's like a fair exchange between all presidents. Come to my country, I show you the best. You come to mine, I come to your country, you show me the best. You know, all that good fancy. You know what I mean? All that. You know, like all the good stuff. All the good stuff. But I think every country. Well, Ed, I think every country has like their little bad part. I don't know if every country has like we do it, like they're doing it in front of DC. I don't know if that's happening in every other country, but it's happening in this one.
Bruh.
So can we give the president the dummy buzzer? He got to get it. Yeah, he got to get it. He got to get it. Thank you. And if I can, for 1 second, can I go back to the woke thing? Can I go back to that? All right. Yeah, I want to go back to that for 1 minute. I do. I want to share something a little close to my heart.
Bruh.
No, I'm just playing. But I'm just saying to I just want to speak to the woke people just for 1 minute. To all my listeners who call themselves woke, whatever. I just want to speak to y'all for 1 minute. Where were y'all when this was going on?
Bruh.
See, these are the things that's done behind our backs. And I just want to wake all my listeners, I want y'all to wake up to this. Even if you say you woke or not. Woke or not. But to the ones who say that they were woke, I have this question for you. Where were you when this bill was being passed?
Bruh.
And it was open to the public. Where were you?
Bruh.
All the conspiracy theorists and all that stuff that listen to my shows, because I keep telling y'all, I read the comments, so I see the little stuff that y'all send, and I know who the trolls are. I ignore y'all.
Bruh.
But the real ones, I read your stuff.
Bruh.
I read it. So I ask y'all, all that good bull you was talking, where was you when this was going on? Where was you when this bill was being passed? There's so many others like it. But you want to sit there and come online and talk to me. Like, are you serious right now? Sorry, I had to get personal, Ed.
Bruh.
I'm just saying.
Bruh.
All right, look, let's get into let's read one of the comments real quick. All right, we're gonna read one in the comments. All right, here we go. It says here. What's? All right, we ain't gonna say your name. We ain't gonna say your name. It says you hit. It says you hit the nail on the head right there. This fool that is running our country is only creating problems. He is taking away from the poor, and it's going to cause the crime rate to go up and up big time. And I agree with that. It is going to cause the crime rate to go up big time. It really is. I think it is. I think it is. All right, let's get back to it. It would be great if a few homeless families camped out in one of his backyards. I don't know about that part. You know what I'm saying? Not my backyard. You know what I mean? Even president, no president.
Bruh.
You ain't camping out in my for real. I don't care. I'm just keeping it honest. Let's get back to it. But first, there's breaking in because they're hungry and their children are hungry. Oh, but first they're breaking in because they're hungry and their children is hungry.
Bruh.
I don't know about that. I think they're breaking in for multiple reasons. What? What the hell you want me to say? I just said I think they're breaking in for multiple reasons.
Bruh.
That's just it. I could say that person was kind of mad. They were mad. I agree with them in a way. In a way I do, in a way I don't. That's why I said I'm a two-headed coin. But listeners, let me know what you think about him signing. Let me know what you think about the United States president, our United States president, signing a executive order to remove homeless people from the street nationwide. Let me know what you think about that. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what do you think about that. This is really focused on Washington, but it is for the nation. Let me know what you think about it. All right, hit me up in the comments and let me know hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think about it. Like, hit me up in the comments. Ed, drop my bomb, please. Because the Caucasians in America, they're going crazy, okay?
Message.
I'm just saying.
Bruh.
All right, I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me, and I so appreciate that. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button. Also, feel free to share and check us out on our other social media platforms. Until next episode, ladies and gentlemen. Until next episode, all my listeners. Yeah, I did mess up. Shut up, Ed. Until next episode, all my listeners. Stay blessed and not stressed. I will see y'all later. Peace out.